Hi guys, today I'll be testing out the Fanatec CSL DD, CSL pedals and ClubSport shifter with Forza Horizon 5 on both my gaming PC and the Xbox Series X. I'll also show you my wheel settings to give you an idea of what worked well for me. Now let's begin with testing this out on my gaming PC. So I've got the wheel, shifter and pedals set up on my Track Racer sim cockpit, and my gaming PC is plugged into my LG OLED C1 TV. So details for all the items I'll be showing today are in the description below, including purchasing links. Now testing this out on my PC, by default it's set up to work on automatic, so the shifter's not enabled by default, but works fine. No issues there, pedals are working as well. Now flipping over and going to settings, difficulty, and if we change over now to manual with clutch. Now testing out the shifter, so first gear, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and reverse. All the gears seem to be working now, and now going into first gear, clutch down, second gear, third gear, works perfectly, so no issues there. Now going into settings and just changing to just manual, and with that you don't have to use the clutch, you can just shift straight into gear. That works fine too. Now with it in manual, the paddle shifts work perfectly with this, no issues there. And if I switch over the shifting type to sequential, that doesn't work by default. Let's come out of the game, see if that makes a difference with that. Now jumping back into the game, trying out the sequential shifter, doesn't make any difference. So that doesn't work, it's only the H shifter that works with this. There you go, that's up and running. And you can alternate between the paddle shifts and the shifter, so you're not limited to just using the shifter. So if I now shift over to second, and I'll use the paddle shifts to increase to 3, 4, and then 5, coming back down. But obviously that's in the wrong gear. As soon as I put it back in, it engages it. So no surprise there, it's the same on the Logitech wheels too. And good to see all the functionalities working except the sequential shifter on the PC. Let's take a look at the settings I've gone for. So in setup 2, in tuning menu, you can see what I've set up. First one worth mentioning really is the overall force feedback strength. And I've taken it from 100% down to 70%. At 100%, steering felt very heavy, a lot of force was needed, and really didn't give a very realistic feel to it. I found taking it down to 70 gave ample feedback from the wheel. And some of the other settings I've gone for, I had a look on Fanatec's forum, and there were some recommended settings for Forza Horizon 4, and I've tweaked them slightly, and this is what I've come down to. Now, moving on to the settings I've got in Forza Horizon 5, so looking in difficulty, steering set to simulation and stability control is on, and then coming out of there, going to advanced controls. I had a play about with these and I tested them at the minimum and maximum just to see what worked best for me. And with regards to the dead zone ones, I didn't really feel I need to change those. I made an adjustment to steering linearity, so increased that from 50 to 55. The other dead zone items were the acceleration, deceleration, clutch axis, and e-brake. I left them as is as well. Vibration scale, I took that down to 0.4. Center spring scale, I increased that to 2. Wheel damper scale, I left at 1. Mechanical trail scale, I took that down to 0.8. And force feedback minimum force, took that down to 0.8. Force feedback load sensitivity, increased that to 1.1. Road feel scale, I reduced that to 0.7. And off-road feel scale, I reduced that to 0.5. And these are the settings I'm using on a PC and managed to maintain controllability of the car much more. So really is my sweet spot with a game with this. But if you had any suggestions, drop a message in the comment. Hopefully it will help other people out as well. If you had any recommendations or improvements on this. Let's test this out on my Xbox. Now, first of all, testing out driving with the shifter set to automatic. That seems to work fine, no issues. Now changing to manual. Now testing this out, so if I put it into first gear, no need to use the clutch because I didn't select that. Second, third, fourth, 5th and 6th gear. Put it into 7th. 7 isn't applicable for this car. And then looking at the paddle shifts, that works perfectly too. No issues on that. And the handbrake, which is B. There you go. That works perfectly too. Now changing to manual with clutch. So with this, clutch down, going to 1st gear. That's fine. 2nd is fine. 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Works perfectly. So that's really good to see it in action. Let's put it into reverse. That's fine too. So excellent. So automatic's working, manual works, and manual with clutch as well. On the Xbox, I've made a few adjustments in terms of the settings. So I've come into the tuning menu on the wheel and coming across, going to force feedback. And on that, I've set that to auto because on here, the force feedback just felt too low. Coming on to settings, advanced controls, and you can see what I've gone for over here. Vibration scale, I've taken to 0.2. Force feedback scale, I've gone for 0.8. Center spring scale is 2. Wheel damper scale is 1. Mechanical trail scale is 0.8. Force feedback minimum force is 1. And force feedback low sensitivity is 1.1. Road feel scale is 0.7 and off-road feel scale is 0.5. And that seems to work pretty well on the Xbox. And this is what worked really well for me. But if you have any suggestions to improve on this or make enhancements, drop me a message in the comment below. Hopefully it'll help other people as well. Let's jump in and test out a race. The racing experience on both the PC and Xbox was good. I felt the PC version had the edge over the Xbox version. Feedback felt better on that one. The experience is completely different from what you'd get with a Logitech wheel or even a Thrustmaster one, as the Logitech ones use gears and Thrustermasters ones use belts. So the experience is really smooth and you get much more detailed force feedback in comparison to Logitech wheels, which are internally made up of plastic cogs and gears, which have a more notchy feel, where you can feel the cogs inside turning as you're playing, and it's much quieter too. I've got the boost pack attached on my one, so in terms of force, I'm getting 8 Newton meters of torque coming from there. Pedals feel good as well, performing well when you're racing, and all in all, a really good experience, which is a big upgrade from my Logitech wheels. So it's good to see the wheels working on Forza Horizon 5 on both the PC and Xbox Series X. And this also applies for the Xbox Series S as well. So there you go, I hope it's helped anyone wondering if the wheel does work well with Forza Horizon 5. Details for all the items I've shown today are in the description below, including purchasing links. If you're new to the channel, I hope you can subscribe and hit that bell icon to be informed of my next release.